yesterday on YouTube by someone that, same as me, just likes to lead worship, and they said the same as me. Sometimes all they can do is hum and funny, isn't it? The rhythms just get into your spirit. Morning, Paul. The Lord is my shepherd. The Lord is my shepherd. The Lord is my shepherd. I shall not want. He leads me. Want. He leads me. He leads me beside. He leads me beside. He leads me beside the still waters. He restores, 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 restores my soul. He restores my soul. Thy rod and thy staff, thy rod and thy staff, thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Even though I walk through the darkest place, you will be with me. Surely your goodness and mercy shall follow me, follow me, follow me all the days of my life. Morning. Time to shake off the dust of the night. A lot of people watched Chatterbox yesterday on YouTube. Catch up, so it was nice. And an awful lot of people watched our Facebook yesterday. Over 90 people watched our Facebook yesterday on Catch Up. Good, doesn't it? And that's the thing, isn't it? We never know. These days, most of us are catching up on TV. We watch things later. We watch things later on YouTube, so that's fine. So, we know that many people will watch us later on. This is the day the Lord has made. I will rejoice in it. This is the day the Lord has made. I will rejoice in it. Hallelujah. Ah, the old Martin got warmed up there really nicely towards the end of our worship praise. Stringed instruments have to warm up, and the Martin was certainly warm there. In fact, I had to really stop myself going on for 20 minutes. That's good, isn't it? It's lovely when an instrument suddenly sings. Alan and I went to hear Elgar's violin concerto in the festival hall, and the guy was playing a Stradivarius violin, and for the first 8 or 10 bars it was pretty flat, but when he got warmed up and his violin got warmed up, that instrument sang in that hall. It was beautiful. And it's the same with the guitar. It has to pick up and warm up, and so do my fingers. So it's good, wasn't it, this morning? Great stuff. We do like, don't we, to get ourselves warmed up here. Now, this is the story this morning, and it's one of those stories from the Old Testament you have to dig into if you're really going to find the message. It's from the Elisha sequence, and it begins like this. Now, Elisha had been suffering from the illness from which he died. Jehoash, king of Israel, went down to see him and wept over him. My father, the chariots of Israel and its horsemen. Yeah, well, Elisha was a very big prophet. Not quite as big as Elijah, but pretty big, and well known and respected, and key to Israel's survival spiritually. So his imminent death, morning Debbie, his imminent death was a thing of concern. Now this is what happened. Elisha said, "Get a bow and some arrows." So the king did so, and "Take the bow in your hands," he said to the king of Israel. When he had taken it, Elisha put his hands on the king's hands. "Open the east window," he said, and he opened it. "Shoot," Elijah said, and he shot. "The Lord's arrow of victory, the arrow of victory over Aram declared, you will destroy the Ammonites." Great. Now that is so prophetic. You know, that's what we prophets do. Elisha wanted the king to get a message that he was going to destroy the Arameans at Aphek at the battle. And so he fires the arrow 3 times, the arrow arches out, and 3 times the prophet pronounces the Lord's arrow of victory, the Lord's arrow of victory, the Lord's of great. So that's good, isn't it? And I think that's what prophets do. Hi David, hi Denise. That's what prophets do. Don't worry about that. It's the next bit that I think is interesting. Then Elisha said, "Take the arrows," and the king took them. Now, when a prophet asks you to do something like this, you really got to keep your mind on your job. The prophet has just shown you the power of the arrows. Now he asks you to take the arrows. What's going on here? Elisha said, "Strike the ground." And he struck the ground 3 times, and he stopped. The man of God was angry, and he said, "You should have struck the ground 5 or 6 times. Then you would have defeated Aram and completely destroyed it. But now you will only destroy it 3 times. Ah, this is weird. Okay, if we accept as a given that prophets are weird, then let's leave it to one side. The first bit is great, isn't it? It's a proclamation by the prophet to the king that the Lord's arrow of victory will fly out over the enemies. Well, you know, David said the same. The battle is the Lord's, and he will give you into our hands, and I will cut off your head. You know, so this is not unusual, and it's nice. For the king, facing the threat of Aram, it's a wonderful reassurance, isn't it? And, you know, you can imagine it really impressing his heart. That's what the prophet said, this wonderful thing. But the next bit, what's that all about? Well, I'll tell you what it's about. Joash wasn't really on fire for the Lord. See, he wasn't really gripped by what Elisha was saying. He was happy for the arrows flying out. That was fine, but he didn't understand that he's in the presence of a prophet who's going to tell him profound things. He rather than What he should have done was he said, well, Elisha, you've already told me I'm going to be the arrow of victory, so that's a terrific victory for the Lord. Give me those arrows. Bash, 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 bash. He should have done, even though he didn't know what he was doing. He should have been on fire in the presence of the prophet. Prophets have access to God that others don't have, and he should have been absolutely on fire. And if Elisha said to him, stand on your head and do head springs, he should have done 20 or 30, not 3. You see, this man is not really on fire. Joash is not really on fire for the Lord. If he had been, he would have shown an immense, he would have shown an immense outpouring. The prophet has given me the arrows to beat the ground. I'm going to beat the ground into the ground. And he sort of tap, tap, tap. There we are. Thanks, Elisha. Nice to have the arrows. Nice arrows, those. Thanks for calling me. See you around. Elisha goes, just a minute, son. Just a moment. You've totally missed the point. I knew it. I knew when you fired the 3 arrows, you weren't really passionate. David was passionate. The battle is the Lord's, he said, and I'm going to cut off your head next. But Joash isn't passionate. Oh, good. Well, thanks, Elisha. That's great. The arrow of victory. Very nice. Thank you. And so when he gets the chance to go further, he doesn't. He just sort of dusts the ground off and gives Elisha back the arrows. And Elisha said to him, son, you have profoundly missed the point. And I knew you had when we fired the arrows. You are not on fire for God. Because if you were, you want more and more and more of God. You'd have beaten the ground and said, and that's the Philistines, and that's Edom, and that's Moab, and that's the rest. I'm going to wipe the whole lot out while I'm at it. And Elisha would have been very happy. He didn't ask enough of God, and he didn't want to do enough for God. That was Joash. He would do a little for God. No, that'd be fine. Beat the Ammonites, that's fine. I can go back to the palace, have a good time, watch the football, drink coffee. No, he just wasn't on fire for the Lord. And we go one step further. What his problem was, he didn't want more of God. He was satisfied with what he had. The 3 arrows, the Lord is the victory. We want to go home now. Never go home from a prophet till he sends you home. And so he shows them to the prophet that he doesn't really want more of God. He just wants a little bit. Defeat the Ammonites, that'd be fine. Oh, that's good then. Great. No. He didn't want more of God. He didn't want more for God. He didn't want to give more energy for God. He didn't want to give more to God. He didn't want to do more for God. He didn't want to reach more for God. He didn't want God lifted high over the whole of the region. He was the king of Israel. He'd defeat the Arameans. That'd be nice. No. And I've met so many Christians like that who don't have the passion to want more from God. I'd have beaten the ground with the arrows till they broke. Then I'd have said to Elisha, got any more arrows? I seem to have bust these. I haven't finished yet. To long for more of God. I want more of God. And the reason is simple, not for me personally, but I want the Lord to be on his throne. I want him to be seen to be on his throne by all these pagans and unbelievers who mock him and ridicule him. I want him to be seen to be the king that he is. And I want to serve him to help achieve that. So I want more and more and more of him, and more and more and more for him. The more he might give me might be different to the more he gives you. That's not the point. Some of us are given more than others. That's not the point. We're all servants. We do the task we're given. To one might sweep the floor, one might build a temple. It makes no difference. We serve. And the Lord gives in proportion to what we can handle. But we should always want more. I always want more. I'm never satisfied. Never satisfied. Never, never, never satisfied. Because I want more of God, because I want more for him. I'm never satisfied. Never. Never, 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 never. When I was, first I was called to be a priest and did that for 13 years. Then out of that, in my organisation, the Anglican Church, it was possible to be an evangelist. So I wanted that. So I left, well, I'm still a priest. I left the parish, began to travel as an evangelist. And Mary had to make the adjustment to me living a different lifestyle, us living a different lifestyle. And then the Lord called me to be a prophet, and I had to change again. to being something else. And then we set up the Serving Africa mission. We had to change again. Mary said to me, "Are you ever satisfied?" I said, "No, never. Never." She said, is this the last? Are you now satisfied being a prophet?" No. No, no, no. I am not satisfied. I am not satisfied with building one school. I can tell you that for nothing. So I'm never satisfied. I want the happy school, which is the second school I want to build. I'll never be satisfied. Why should I be? "Elisha, I've bust these arrows, beaten the ground with them. Could you please give me some more so I can beat it some more?" Never satisfied. Why do we? Well, I don't. So here's a case where I have to say, Denise, did I say hello? Sometimes I don't always see it come up. I've got to leave myself out of here. Are you satisfied with what you've got? Because if you are, you're missing the boat. Why be satisfied? There's more of God. There's always more of God. I want more of God. I was once in a vision, standing in a great plain. Africa, we have great plains. It was massive. As far as the eye could see, this plain stretched. And I was standing in the middle of it, and there was nothing. There were no trees, no bushes, no, just flat plain forever, disappearing into the sky. And the Lord said to me, "Look to the north." I looked to the north. "Look to the south." I looked to the south. "Look to the east." I looked to the east. "Look to the west." Look to the west. What's this all about? The Lord said, "As far as you can see," and I could see a long way, "there's always more of me." And I said, I want that. Don't settle for what you've got. Ask him for more. And you see, Elisha wouldn't have told him off at all. He just said, "Oh, great, I've got 20 more arrows. Okay, then hand them over." But Elisha looked at this man and knew he was going to settle for what he had. Miserable experience, settling for what you've got. Imagine this, right? Okay, you settle for what you got, you get to heaven, the Lord goes, "Ah, Michael, good to see you." "What?" "Oh, good to see you." There's the gate in names in the book. Go on in, spend eternity together. "Well, Lord, you're a bit glum." Yes, I am glum. Because look what you could have done. And then he's going to show us what we could have done. He's going to reveal to me what I could have done. And I didn't do it. He isn't going to do that to me, because he's going to say to me, "Why did you do all that?" And I'll say, "Because I thought it was what you wanted." And he'll go, "Okay then, obedience always gets my vote." Never settle, never settle. Because you see, it got him into trouble. You will never be great now. You'll defeat them 3 times and then they'll defeat you. And what you've done will never last. Your work will never last. Man was a fool. He should know better. I was once out walking. Am I rabbiting? Yes, good. Well, we like a good rabbit, don't we? I was once out. What did Heather say? Oh, she said something. I used to be satisfied, but that was before I knew how much more there was, indeed. I was out walking with this man, and he's talking about how he wanted to serve the Lord and what he was going to do for the Lord and everything. That's good. So I said to him, we came to a lake. I said, "Okay, let me say this to you," because he knew I was a prophet. I said, pick up a stone and throw it in the lake." I said, "What?" See, it's a bit of Elisha, wasn't it? I said, "Pick up the stone and throw it in the lake." And so he looked at me. I'm sure Elisha was tapping me on the shoulder. I've seen this, son, he's going. He picked up this pebble and he flicked it just into the edge of the lake. I said, "Son, you may serve the Lord, but you'll never do a great work for him. Your work will be good, but very small." He looked at me. And I said, "Let me show you how I see this." I picked this boulder up so heavy I could hardly carry it. I waded down into the lake until it was up to my knees. And then with all the strength I had, I hurled this thing as far as I could. Well, it went away, and it made an enormous splash and soaked me. And I turned around and I said to him, "That's what I'm going to do. And that's what you should have done." "Oh, I'll do it now." I said, "Son, you never get a second chance with the prophet. You never do. You never get a second chance." Elisha didn't say, "Oh dear, you didn't understand, let's try that again." Nope. You get the one chance, I said to this man. And it was true. He never did a great work. In fact, he never did a work at all. Because like the king here, he thought it was a joke. Me, I said to the Lord afterwards, "There was a bigger boulder, Lord, but I couldn't pick it up. But I would have done it if I could. And I couldn't get the boulder any further, but I would have done it if I could. I daren't wade out any further. I wasn't sure what was under my feet. But let me tell you, Lord, that was the biggest stone I could throw. I just wish I could find a bigger one. Never be content. I'm never content. Why should I be content? As far as your eye can see, the Lord said, there's more of me. I want it. I want it. I want 2 schools. I don't know if I should have 3, but I think 2 will do for now. I haven't got a prayer starting the second one. I haven't even got any land. I haven't got any money. I haven't got any money for the first one. You know, we are very, very struggling with our resources. I can't imagine buying land and building a second school, but a second school there's going to be. And that's the end of it. So, I don't know. At first I thought that was a rather strange story, but then I think the Lord said to me, don't worry so much about the detail of the story. You know, get to the heart of it. Don't settle for it. I don't. Paul Seifert doesn't. Mary doesn't. The mission doesn't. We don't settle for it. David Farry, David Smith, the rest of us in it, we don't settle. Because we want all there is of God. When I get to heaven, I don't want them to say to me, 3 more things you didn't do. No, I'm not going to have that. Good, isn't it? Don't you think? Very positive. Much nicer than sulking around doing tiddly things. Boring tiddly things. They bore me. Let's do a great work for God. The bigger the better. Hey, good? Oh, where's the time go? This guy rabbits on so much he never gets anything done. I searched the heights, calling, but all I heard was the echo of myself. I searched the rivers and the forest. I searched into the sunset and the moon, calling, but all I ever heard was the sound of my own voice dying. In despair I sank down. There was no one else to call. And then I heard, in the stillness of the night, a whisper. I am here. I am always here. No need to fear. Abandonment is not my way. Well, there we are. Is it Friday? I can't remember. Is it Friday or it's Thursday, isn't it? Is it Friday? I don't know. It's Friday, isn't it? Yes, okay. Well, I usually read the favourite poem from the week, but I don't know. I just felt that was something read this morning. So, here we are. We've done another week together. And it's good, isn't it? Been a great week of Chatterbox. Enjoyed it very much. And so we won't be here Saturday, Sunday. We don't do weekends because there's only one of me. I only do so much at once. But because I have to prepare for Sunday, because that's quite important, Grace Church. Now, if you are part of Sunday morning, Grace Church, then do make sure you're in our WhatsApp, because that will eventually become the Grace Church WhatsApp, because that will become the way by which I communicate with you. So do join it. Most of you have, but if you haven't, don't miss it. Just join up, send me a WhatsApp, an email, or phone me up, get into the Grace Church WhatsApp. And Sunday morning will be beautiful. As always, the Lord just wonderful to us on a Sunday morning. And a lot of people watch it afterwards, so we're quite a big little church in a way. We're still working on Facebook, so be patient with us as we try to sort that out. And we'll get that right in the end. I have finished a lot of writing. We'll soon be on Kindle, so I'll let you know what that is. And been a great week, hasn't it? Here we are, still here, a whole week of chatting together and serving the Lord, singing and stuff, and we just keep going, don't we? I think when I first started out as a curate, as an assistant minister, I had a really good senior pastor. He said to me one day, "In this business, son, you don't have to be successful, you just have to keep going." And I think that's right, because I don't do success anyway, but keeping going is what it's about. And if we keep going, we'll keep going. And the Lord will keep going with us. So if you're having a bad day, just keep going. You know, tomorrow could be a better day, couldn't it? This is the day the Lord has made, so we rejoice in it, sing God's praises and love him. Thank you all for being with me. Most of you have been with me all week. And those that watch on Catch Up, well, thank you for watching. And so that's the end of Chatterbox for this week. I'm now going to switch to Facebook for our morning Facebook teaching. And you can either come onto Facebook. If you're in the Facebook family, come onto Facebook or stay on YouTube, whichever you like. If you want to, it's entirely up to you. I speak to both. But remember, the Facebook camera is a little bit lower than the YouTube camera. So if you think I'm looking at my feet, perhaps I am. I'm not, though. Okay, everyone, thank you. Great stuff. Lovely to be with you. Margaret, I know, is tied up with school at the moment in the mornings, but that will sort itself out. And I think that's everything for today. See you tomorrow. No. See you Monday morning. God bless. Now let's get the Facebook family ready. And I love the singing on Chatterbox.